the Whiskey Rebellion Barcast, and we're back again on a Wednesday, recording for Thursday. Now, I will tell you that the hockey game is going on right there. Like, you can't see it, but it's right there. So if I look like I'm spaced out for a moment or two, I'm not. It's hockey, and I love hockey, and I love bourbon. So with that being said, guys, I got that out of the way early. And by the way, it's a military term, with that being said. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Cheers, gentlemen. Be good to yourself.
Cheers. No, hey. Don't start it out. Come out right. By the way, I'm having one of the bottles I'm sent to Marky Mark. I'm having the Colonel Hunter. Good stuff. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Give that a whirl tonight and see how that goes. Guys, let's go around the horn. Everybody say hello, and then we'll go back to what we're expecting to do tonight on our show.
Well, I hope everybody's doing well on this beautiful Wednesday evening. All is well here in Miami, hot as hell, but nevertheless good. I'm having 4 roses today. I'm going to try to do a bottle kill on this today. So another one down and like 12 more to go. So I'm just sitting enjoying this, and that's about it.
Nice.
All right. Nice.
Marky Mark, where are you at, what's man? It looks like you're out and having a good time out at the local cabana. So what's going on?
What's up, my family? So I am down at my probably one of the only spots I go to right now with COVID, Fine Ass Cigars, and I am sipping Weller Full Proof for now. I didn't want to try to get home because I would have been pushing it. I didn't want to be late, so I'm not having a barrel pick right now, at least not now. But I may in a little while. But Weller Full Proof, and I am sitting outside, which is nice.
Nice day there.
All right, yeah. John Boy.
Not too, a little cooler.
No.
John Boy, tell me what we got over
there. So I'm actually, because we're talking about barrel picks, I'm sipping on 3-chord.
Nice.
It's a 12-year. This one's 15. It's a barrel pick by Don out here in Fairview. This one's pretty good, man. If you like the leather flavors and the tobacco from your bourbons, this is definitely one that will not disappoint. It's pretty heavy on the leather, kind of up front, and then you get kind of this sweet tobacco on the back end, and the spice kicks in as well. So it kind of goes back between spice and sweet. Also have my next pour will be the High West Double Rye. I love this thing, man. This is phenomenal. This is also a barrel pick from the same liquor store. So, but yeah, happy to get some snow here in Nashville today. And we were 70 degrees yesterday. So big weather.
That's crazy. You guys got snow?
Yeah.
It was cold for us here in Murfreesboro. But yeah, we didn't see any snow, or at least I didn't when I was out. But
yeah, my mother said that it was snowing pretty good up in Mount Juliet, but we had, and they called it right on the 40 line, I-40. They said that it would be anything north of that would be getting snow. And Tennessee's kind of a condensed state. It's really long but really short. And when they call it on the line like that, that's literally probably 25, 30 miles away from each other. Like a couple weeks ago when we had 4 inches or so right down here, and just up the road, which is only 20 miles, 25 miles up the road in Williamson County, they had no snow. Like, it was green outside. So weird. Yeah. All right, Jack Frost, speaking of snow.
Well, it seems like I missed a whole bunch of stuff in the VIP chat last weekend. But yeah, I'm just doing so I have 14 different store picks to pick from. So I went with the Rossville from Argonaut Liquors out here. It's our rye whiskey barrel select, 100 proof on that one. And I had it before, and well, mixed with some clear ice. It's
can't stand
the heat down because the rye has a lot of the kind of the cinnamony spice towards the back end of it. But yeah, so I have, let's see here.
What in the heck?
Switching my camera around. So those are all my other store picks.
Hmm.
I think that's appropriate though. Your little, I guess, avatar
Yeesh.
or emoji that shows up when you're doing your
Like
when you switch your camera, because it's like a little
Yeah.
squirrel moment, and I do refer to you as a squirrel type of individual.
I don't understand why you do that.
All right, Rob.
Hey.
You don't really?
Yeah. So back to clear ice. Hold on, Rob, for a second.
Oh Lord.
I'm drinking my neat tonight, by the way. Throw that out there. Okay, he's triggered.
Who, me? I'm definitely triggered.
So tonight I actually brought with me and Shitty sitting there behind me.
What up, Shitty?
Yeah, there he is. So a friend of mine is involved with a group of guys in Western PA who are starting their own thing. It's called the Aging Room.
Hmm.
Right now they're doing, I got their bourbon and their straight rye. I brought the straight rye with me. They're buying it in from MGP so they can get themselves up and going.
Mhm.
They actually got this rye as like a 10-year rye from MGP. They're taking it and finishing it for 6 months. This one was finished in a port barrel. Wow. You definitely picking up on the port, but it is a fantastic rye. I think I paid 43 bucks. It's 94 proof.
Nice.
This is the 30th bottle of their inaugural run.
Nice. Now, Rob, let me ask you, does that aging room have anything to do with the cigars as well? Or?
No,
Okay.
doesn't have anything to do with the cigar. But they're going to do a full run of small batch distillery stuff. They're doing their own. They're doing vodka. They're doing rum. They're doing gin. But they're buying in. They're producing all that stuff, and then they're buying in till they can get themselves some products stored away. They're buying in through MGP.
Didn't NGP just bought Luxor or Lux?
Yes,
Luxico.
they just had a merger, and
$200 million.
yeah, which I think is I haven't read the whole article, but I'm always looking at it from a financial standpoint and liquidity and having more money and resources. And I think it's a great merger to go in together. I think it's going to be really good for the Indiana company to be able to produce more and to be able to provide more for their consumer population, which is most of these craft distilleries and stuff of that nature. Hey, little Davey, what are we drinking?
Why? That's not gonna be my nickname. It's not gonna be my nickname.
Okay, we'll let the viewers decide since you seem to be upset about it, little Davey.
Keep on with that shit. All right. So right now I am drinking Blue Note, the 9-year small batch. We had a little discussion in the VIP chat a little while ago about whether or not those were separate things or the same thing. As it turns out, it's the same thing. It's also really delicious. I can't remember exactly what I paid for. It wasn't too much. I don't think I paid over 50. And
Really?
the nose is really nice. I get a lot of vanilla on the nose, and tasting it, I get like almost like an orangey kind of a taste, but like sweet, and then it fades into like oak and spice and things like that, and it's got kind of like a lingering spice on the end. That's mild, really nice overall. Really happy with it, and I know it's been recommended and talked about in the VIP chat before. Bought it on Reputation. I don't think I've bought anything off of Reputation at this point. I've been disappointed in. So, cheers to you guys.
Hold on. Is that you said this is single barrel?
Mm-mm. Small batch.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen. All mine are single barrels, and I have 9-year and 10-year.
I've seen the 10-year. I remember it being a little on the pricey side, and not wanting to mess with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm really happy with the small batch. I'm sure other things are better, but this is a great one to get started on.
And here's a quirky one here. So this is another store pick, but this one here has like a completely different label.
That is rather weird. What is that in the corner on the bottom there? Oh, it's a dog. Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah. And if you guys want to hear something odd, out of all the bottles I have, I don't have any barrel or store picks. I've never just thought, okay, well, let me find one or this, that, the other. I buy what I like. I stick to what I know. I like to try different stuff, but I don't think I've ever intentionally sought out a barrel pick or a store pick. And I don't know, maybe I will just to see if there's some differences in the two, but I haven't so far.
Well,
Label.
one of the store picks that I have here tonight, I have two. I have well, I have more than two. I have a lot of store pick barrel picks. I do have 107, which is from Tariq's place, Elixir in Spring Hill, Tennessee, and that is fantastic. He has a great palette for picking out things. This, I don't even know where this came from in West Virginia, but Rob picked it up for me. About the case for him, about the case from him. I have to watch this. This right here goes. It's so smooth, and it's 125 proof, and that kind of leads us to our question for this evening. I have found that when I go to places that have, where the liquor store guy or the owner is out there with, getting a constituent space, and he's putting together a team to go out and do a barrel pick. Really wish Thomas was on the show tonight because he just recently done one of these this weekend. I have noticed that the flavors are so much more, and I don't know if it's, and me and David were talking about it today via the phone. I don't know if it's a geographical thing or if we just trust some of our peers in the bourbon industry over some of the master distillers, whereas the master distillers are producing a product for the masses. However, when I was talking to Roy today up at Centerpoint Liquor Store in Hendersonville, fantastic gentleman. If you get a chance to go up there in Hendersonville, Tennessee, that guy, he knows his bourbon. He really does. And what's strange is he and I have very similar palates because he let me sample Hill Rock on Mark's recommendation. And many of the notes that I picked up from that were the same ones he picked up from it. Like it wasn't his favorite because he had a more of a Scotchy taste. But he's been doing this for 40 years up there in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And I'm gonna tell you what, that guy, wow, he is super knowledgeable and very personal to talk to. Once he finds out, once he can tell you're not just, I don't know, some dude coming in there buying probably a plastic bottle, he's down with having a conversation with you. And I like that. And that's probably one of the things I like about many of the liquor stores I've been to as well with the barrel picks is having the conversation that goes with them. So my question is, why is it the barrel picks, store picks, however you want to put it, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, are always better than the ones that are produced by the same brand, same content, everything like that are produced by the distiller?
Well, better is a personal taste, right? I mean, if they're taking, X amount of barrels and they're blending them together for some of these bottles that they're selling retail, but then these other ones are a single barrel or a smaller blend that a distiller, or not a distiller, but a store is going to go in there and taste them and decide which one they want out of them all. So it's, somebody's store pick can be fantastic because their palate is more advanced than mine. And then somebody else's store pick can taste like mud because they have the same palate as me. I don't know. Not that I eat mud, but I mean,
But do you put clear ice in it?
depends. Sometimes I'll just put snow in the mud.
My guess is it's yellow snow, but go ahead.
Damn, I was going to do the Zapper reference. Damn it.
That or paint chips. But anyway,
We're all friends here, I swear.
well, I mean, that's true. That 6 of the 7 of us that are here we'd probably have each other's back. Try to figure out which 6 it is. Anyhow, I can tell you this: I would have my Bourbon Brothers backs. So you know which one, which 2 of you guys that is. So, but hey, I know like John had brought it up. he's building a relationship right now with Don. And I'll agree with you. I'm not a big fan of Redemption. However, I do like their rum cast. But of the Redemption bottles I had, the store pick barrel pick that he had up there in Fairview was fantastic. Why is that? And that's what I can't figure out. And you're building a relationship with him, so you tell me.
So before this group, I wouldn't even known what a barrel pick was, to be honest. You know, I have enough common sense where I'm just like, all right, you picked the fucking barrel. Got it. But, you know, I wouldn't have known, you know, to say, how is this going? How is this, you know, high West, you know, double rye going to stand out than, you know, from just the typical bottle that you find up on the shelf? And so kind of going back to, you know, some of my first conversations with you guys about building relationships, you know, to find those unicorns, you know, someone made a comment, and I think it was before I was even introduced to Jay, but it was somebody made a comment about, you know, if you're building relationships with the folks, you know, it's buying the things that, you know, they have to offer, and which I think is, you know, that's where the store picks come into play. And so that's what I've been doing at Fairview Liquors, you know, working, you know, building relationships with Don, his other store staff, you know, to get the things that we all search for, that we all hunt for, you know, things that they don't put on the shelves. And I've been able to get a couple of those, you know, fortunately. But what I think is cool is that, you know, although I'm building a relationship, you start learning from, you start learning what their palate is like, you know, because they're personally picking these barrels, and you're like, you know, they may post a review about it. Well, I pick up this, and this, you know, and it could be like, all right, well, I picked that up too. I actually like that. And then so the next barrel pick that comes in the store, you end up picking it up because, you know, you guys have similar tastes. Now, I did pick up another barrel pick from a different store in Nashville in the Bell Mead area. And it wasn't what I expected. It was a little bit different. I did find qualities about that specific pick that I liked, but there was also things I didn't like. And so I think it's just a way that you can learn different palettes that different stores have, who's going out and picking those. And it's also a way that, you know, if I go back to that store again, you know, that's a conversation starter. Like, who picked that barrel? Like, you know, what are your thoughts on it? Like, what were the things that you picked up out of it? And it's just a way, that's a kind of opening up the door for me, creating a relationship with that new person. So when they get bottle X in stock, you know, and John Snyder is one of the first ones that they call, you know, so I can come get it. So, you know, this group has really made an impact on me about getting barrel picks.
Well, I think, and I appreciate that first. I appreciate you taking the lead on that and being very vulnerable with your experiences and things of that nature. And to be perfectly honest with you, if you were to take back 2.5 years, I don't know that 2.5 years ago I had the knowledge bourbon wise that I have today. And it's from meeting other people that are within this group and stuff of, and the relationships and networking and stuff of that nature. But I've gotten where I find, like, for example, Bobby out at Crown Liquor, he doesn't drink and at all. And I find his barrel picks to be fan-freaking-tastic. And I'm like, how do you pick a good, and of course what it is the people he puts together to go out there. But his picks have been fantastic. I'm not a big Four Roses fan, but even the barrel picks on Four Roses that I've had from both Gary and also Bobby, because it was me that told you that about sometimes you have to let the liquor store win, and sometimes you have to just go, hey, look, it's not really what I'm wanting, but they don't have what I want. I want to maintain this relationship, build on this relationship. So they're offering this, and boom, I'm going to get it. It's just like the whole thing with Kentucky Par. Gary knew that I had been spending a lot of time and a lot of money and resources out there to buy from him, that as soon as he got Kentucky Par in, he called me and was like, "Hey, you want this?" And I'm like, "Sure." It seems to be the rave, and then, of course, it was horrible. But
I beg to differ. It wasn't for you.
well,
I'm
do
happy
you
with
think it's worth the price point?
Of course not. But I didn't
For
pay
you
the
it was.
price
It was
point.
free.
It
But-
wasn't free. I traded
But does
bottles.
Dave think any are worth the
It-
price point?
You
I
know,
traded bottles with Jody. I wouldn't. What I ended up paying was way less than what he did overall. But yeah, no. If I
Well-
had paid that, yeah, it would have been worth it. But no, not
that takes us straight into a different conversation, because Shane and I actually, when I was picking up Billy's bottle of Mick 10 today, I purchase a lot of bottles on the secondary market, and I might be in a different resource availability to be able to do that. But if you can't get it any other way, how do you expect to find it? Or how do you expect to put your hands on it or have it or be able to consume it? By the way, John, did you get that invitation? Don't say the name of the place, but okay, cool. So I wanted to get another person into the group, because that way on that page, because I know you're really getting into it. But if you have the resources to do it and it's what you want, you're not going to miss a mortgage payment on it.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out. I mean, that's the way I look at it, but back to barrel picks.
Well, and also
Go
I
ahead.
think with the people who are actually doing the distilling and everything else, they're tasting for consistency. They're tasting to make sure that the product's right. So they have it every day. It's like I
Yeah.
taste my sauce every day. Every day I taste it. So I'm tasting for some flavors because some consistency, the way it feels, the way it looks, the whole nine. But when someone else tastes my sauce, they go into something totally different. You know, 9 times out of 10, when I'm trying my sauce, I'm not trying it on any product. I'm not trying it on ribs or anything else. It's usually just, I have my samples and taste them and what this tastes like on the 10th day and so on and so forth. So I think when somebody who's not going through that process is tasting it, they have more of a range as far as what makes one barrel a little bit better than the other. I mean, it's like if you had to taste the same bourbon every day, you're looking for certain things. You're looking from A through Z, 1 through 100, and if everything's checked off, then that barrel's good.
Hmm.
And then somebody else who's coming in, they may not be that intense on it, but they're looking for all the flavors and how this one varies from the other. And I'm sure the barrels that they pick from are even somewhat picked for them as well, and they pick from a smaller selection.
That's what I was getting ready to say, is that we'd be very naive. And then I want to explain why everybody's laughing in the background. We'd be very naive if we thought that that the distillers don't know where the best barrels are located within their warehouses, because that would be a fallacy. All right. So who do they save those for? I don't know. Are they saving them for? Is that an advantage for the consumer barrel picks, store picks, whatever? Is that what they're doing that for? Because I know how much a barrel costs, because we were invited to do a bourbon barrel pick, but we were going to have to put down quite a bit of capital between us, and it would be our barrel. But the other problem it brings up is we don't have a liquor license, so yeah. So well, I mean, we could buy the barrel, but it would have to sit at, so do we rotate it around between Miami and move it around? But anyway, so
Got a pickup truck just with a barrel back on it.
Yeah.
Heading your way.
but now they did offer back half barrel, and that's something we can definitely discuss on the VIP chat. Some of us really like barrel bourbon, and I'll be honest with you, that dovetail one they made would make me not want to drink barrel bourbon again.
Especially at the price. That stuff is not cheap.
No, we'll have to talk about that here in a moment. But hey, I want to clear up why you see some of us laughing in the background. Apparently, Zuckerberg and Shitty Coolers is listening to us right now, and so we had talked about in the pre-show about the Bernie Sanders mittens, meme that's going around. By the way, which is one of the greatest memes in the history of the internet. I love that one. I think it's hilarious. And but anyway, Shitty Coolers made a sticker that goes on one of the coolers that has that in it. Barbell Voodoo made a shirt that has it on there as well, where he's sitting on the end of the bench, like end of like a bench press bench, and he's just sitting there like this with his mittens on. I bet those mittens are going to sell out, which is funny because
when you find them, yeah, that's yeah, no.
Well, apparently the sweatshirts are back ordered for like 8 weeks, completely sold out. And the cool thing is all of the proceeds are going to charity, Meals on Wheels. And I don't know if anybody's seen the little crochet doll of him sitting on a chair.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is up to 16 grand in a bid. 16 grand. It is, some of the memes are very funny, but I love the fact that he's taking it all in stride and he's not upset about it. He's just rolling with it, I'm sure he's looked at some of those memes and he's cracking up,
I would think so. And
I think
we're dancing around the political here, but I think we can all agree that it's just funny. Like
it is. I don't care. It wouldn't matter which side you're on. That is hilarious.
Yeah. I think the funniest one I've seen thus far was him in the UFC match, and he's got somebody in the armbar.
Well, that's Conor McGregor. Yeah. But I actually find several of them to be funny. One of my favorite ones that I seen, which was on the Bourbon page, was him on Peppy Van Winkle, and they even black and white made him black and white or kind of that burnt dark tan color and whatever, and and they put him on there, and it's just hilarious because I would personally I don't even like Pappy Van Winkle, but that would be a bottle I would have to get because that is hilarious. And it needs to go on the poor man's Pappy sticker that they make because that would be hilarious as well. That would have a semi-political aspect to it that would be funny, But anyway.
Poor man's Pappy. Yeah, I can see the tie in there.
Yeah, it would totally be hilarious. But you would see a lot of people on both sides of the aisle owning it because it is hilarious. But anyway, so
right,
so I guess we'll kind of take it rapid fire real fast because I want to know, do you like, John, if you walked into Don's place and he had a brand new barrel pick of something you've never heard, are you buying it? Yes or no?
Yeah, I mean his palate is I think we would have similar palates, but one of the things I like about barrel picks is that typically they're higher proof, and I'm starting to get more into that. I'm starting to like the higher proof flavors. Being able to sip on it a little bit longer, enjoy it longer. So yeah, most definitely, I would hands down if I'm walking in for Elijah Craig barrel proof or whatever, and if I see that, if it's new, I'm grabbing it over the Elijah Craig barrel proof.
By the way, the Elijah Craig barrel proof, which David and I've had some at my house, that's 132 proof on it. Yeah, that will put your ass in orbit. That thing is hot. All right.
Yeah, you called me the next day.
yeah. That thing is.
You had a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah. So Rob, what about you? Yes or no?
Yep. If I see them, in Ohio and PA, they really don't let individual stores do barrel picks, but somebody from the state will go down and do, or a committee from the state, each state will go down and do barrel picks. Ohio was letting people do it until about 3 years ago, and they passed a law and said, yeah, no, you can't do that. It was one of the places I love to hang out at when I'm on the other side of the state. They'd go down and pick their own barrel, ship it to the local Kroger, bottle kill, and they'd have it they'd sell it in their bar, and people could have their name on the bottle, and then they'd also let the Kroger sell it out of the store as well until their barrel was gone. But yeah, if I see a barrel pick and it's a brand that I'm familiar with, I picked up the Wilderness Trail barrel pick here in Ohio a couple of weeks ago. That was really Wilderness Trail is putting out some great stuff. I picked up one in PA, and I forget which one it was, but I think I've got 3 or 4 barrel picks at home of my 60 or so bottles. Mark, double sticking.
Nice.
Well, I already know the answer from Billy,
Man, yeah,
so because you had already said it earlier. So, Jack, what about you?
Yeah, you know what? I probably would. I do know that I went to, we have a Tipsy's Liquor, and they had Eagle Rare bottle or store pick. So I picked that one up, and I kind of just went past everything else. I've been kind of hunting these Old Foresters, the blue ones. Been hunting these down a little bit. And also the blue notes too. I don't know why. Like I must have an OCD or addictive personality or something, but
There's no way anybody would ever thought that.
no. Your ice has to be clear. But so the blue notes, like I have 6 freaking blue notes, and everyone's like, how is it? I'm like, I don't know yet, because I haven't opened them for 2 reasons. I will open them, and I'll probably do a blind on all 6 of them. But the other one is I have too many open bottles right now that I can't justify opening 6 more bottles just to do a blind test on them. So I gotta kill off. I pulled out some open bottles that I'm killing off, minus my special like anniversary / birthday / holiday bottles where I only do like 1 little dram of that every milestone like that. But yeah, if I'm going to a store and there's a store pick and it's of something that either I've never had before or something that I've had, like a Buffalo Trace, because I have a store pick of Buffalo Trace as well. So I'm going to pick that up and probably put something else down in its place to pick that one up, just to kind of have that one to come along with me.
So is there a purpose why you don't open up multiple bottles at one time?
I have like 10 bottles open right now. So I'm just trying to plow through in the event that I have to, move them from one location to another, which isn't going to happen like from house to house. That's not going to happen for another couple of years. But from storage location, whether it's in my cabinets or my chest area or my garage area, those are the reasons why I don't have them open yet. I'm having a hard time, like I said, just opening up more than 10 right now.
So I asked that because I counted this past weekend, I'm at like 77 bottles. And the reason why I built this room was, have my buddies come over. We sit in my room, listen to music, watch football, whatever, sip bourbon. But eventually I want it to become where there's not a single bottle that hasn't been opened. Because, Billy might come over to my house and he's, I'm like, well, what do you want to drink? He sees everything else. He might find one that he wants to drink and it hasn't been opened. He's like, I ain't gonna do that to John. I ain't gonna make him open up a brand new bottle. And that's not what I want, right? Like I want people to like come in, let's enjoy something. So is there a reason like why I maybe shouldn't do that? That maybe I'm not aware of, or
I'm just waiting for the right times on some of these things. Like I said, once I killed down some of these bottles, I also do. One of my other hobby sites is the Pour Spirit. So it's slow motion videos and of me pouring whiskeys and bourbons or spirits into a glass with or without ice, depending on how I feel that day. So I only like to open brand new bottles for that website, for that page. So that way you get the pop of the cork and then it pours out of the neck. It's a little bit different sound until it hits slow-mo. So I just haven't had the time to get more videos. I have a couple of videos that are, my computers are not good for producing some of these slow motion videos because I'm taking it to the next level. I'm editing it and I'm putting clips together. Whereas before I was just using it in my phone and just editing it through my phone. And my phone actually seems to be more powerful than these computers. So maybe I'll go back to my phone and doing it. So again, if somebody were to come over and they want to try something, if it's not my 150-year-old Foresters, I'm probably going to open them, and it depends on the friend. I have different levels of friends. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, because if I have friends over who wants to smoke a cigar, but they're not genuine cigar smokers,
That'd be
I'd be
me.
like, yeah, you can have
That'd
everything,
be me.
anything in here.
Bundle. You're
Yeah.
getting the bundle picks.
Yeah, the
Even
other
even the
stuff,
dogs agree.
Yep.
Yeah, the other stuff, I'm like, nah,
So-
I don't do that.
Yeah,
But as
I
far
feel
as
you on that.
bottle goes, any bottles that I'm saving, I would say probably a year and a half from now, from when I really open up the bar and kitchen at the warehouse that I got plans. I'm really saving it for that. But if one of you guys came in town and said, "Hey, what do you guys want to drink?" and you wanted something that wasn't opened, I wouldn't hesitate. I wouldn't care if it was the Blanton's Gold, the Michter's 10. I just wouldn't care. Um, these items are meant to be consumed. So I think we should do as such. I understand, some of the bottles are harder to get a hold of. You have those special moments that you're waiting for, which I totally agree. Hell, I got cigars that I will probably never smoke, but they're pre-embargo JFK cigars. So
I understand that. I have
for that
cigars I'll
reason.
probably never smoke too. They all were at the courtesy of Mark.
Yeah. So but I think other than that, anything that we
Tried.
have, we should probably drink. But just like Jack Frost over here, I'm doing bottle kills right now before I open up anything else, only because
Mhm.
it's there. I got this bottle of Angel Envy 2020 that I bought to, like Jody was saying, establish relationships. The odds of me opening that are slim to none, only because my general interest in it is not up there like that. So if somebody wanted it or whatever, I would actually entertain getting rid of it. But it's just one of those things. But I believe we should drink everything that we have at some point.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
That's interesting.
So there's two parts that I want to get back to the single barrel aspect here in a minute, or not single barrel, but the barrel pick. I want to get back to that here in just a second, because what I have found from just listening to you guys, from the evidence that we discussed tonight, is, for me, honestly, if I go to a store and they have a brand new bottle I've never heard of and it's a barrel pick, I'm going to try it. If it's one of my go-tos, because I trust their palate. And I think that's what we were talking about with Don. Now, as for bottles, every bottle I have is open, with the exception of if anything's a double. Like if I have more than one Blanton's, there's no reason to have two Blanton's open. If I have, I have three open right now, but they're the straight from the barrel, gold one, and regular single barrel. All right. My Stag open up everything, because I either buy or trade to consume. My collection is, and only one person in this group has been to my house, though I've invited several, John, to come over and try, because David can attest this. When you come to my house, what I say? Whatever
Almost
you want, man.
everything's open. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Well, not only
true.
that, I just say, hey, what do you want? And he goes, well, I really want to try that. I'm like, knock yourself out, make a glass. One, I trust him on his pour. He isn't going to pour our buddy pour. So half the bottle was gone. And
Not done a Russo for.
Yeah, no, I didn't Russo pour. I think I poured a little heavy one time, and I got a talking to about it, and I was like, this is how I pour things at home. So I try to be careful when I go over there. You want to respect another person's liquor. They spend a lot of time, hunting these things and collecting them. You don't want to be greedy or be perceived as greedy. So
well, it's that
accidental that one time, but I do try to be careful.
It's that, and I went over to a friend of mine's house that lives relatively close. I won't say his name, but he had went up to the distillery and bought some bottles from Maker's Mark, from Angel's Envy, all these different places, distilleries. and he won't open up the bottles. And because I was like, I like try one of those, and he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna open that. And I'm like, I don't understand that. I just don't get it. Because he had just come to my house 2 weeks prior to watch the Super Bowl, and I was like, you can have anything you want. I don't care. Because it's open.
There's if I can interject, I guess I've got two thoughts. One, I wanted to answer, Jody, your question from earlier with regards to if I see like a store pick. In recent months, I've paid way more attention to them when I see them in the store. And it's always like, ooh, this is a store pick of such and such. This sounds pretty interesting. I'll pick it up. But then as I'm walking through, I'm like, oh no, I want this more. Like when I picked up the Blue Note, there was a store pick for, I can't remember what it was. It might've been Woodford. I can't remember. That was there. I was like, this sounds really interesting. I'm probably going to get this. And I went back. I was like, okay, but the Blue Note is here and I haven't had that before. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back and I'm gonna get the Blue Note instead. But I know it's just a matter of time before I start collecting the store picks, but just right now I'm trying to broaden my horizons more. So I haven't ended up pulling the trigger on any store picks recently. I think the only one I ever did was like, I'm probably going to mispronounce it. It's like Galumet or Galumet or whatever. Jalm Galumet. Yeah. I got a store pick from that I think it was Frugal's up in Nashville. And it was really nice, but I don't have anything to compare it to because I never had the regular. Like I just saw it and it was a store pick. I was like, this sounds interesting. Really pleased with it. And Jody, to your point, there's two things I do that if I'm pouring something that's a little, or I have something out that's a little bit more rare and I have a guest and they're a little bit worried, like, oh, am I going to pour too much? How much is too much? I'll pour it for them. Cause I'm saying, here, you can have this much. And I tend to be generous with it. Just cause that's how I am as a host. But at the same time, like I don't have like a big display case or anything like that. Like my stuff is all locked up in another room in the bedroom, literally behind lock and key.
Yeah, I don't have a display case either.
That's a lie. But I'll go back there and I'll be like, I try to attenuate what I pull out to the tastes of my guests. If it's somebody who doesn't know whiskey, who doesn't know liquor in general, really, like I'm like, okay, what's going to be, gentle on them where they're going to enjoy it. And
door proof. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
You know, and so I'll pull something out. Like, I think they're going to like this rather than being like, behold, my bounty, and then feel awkward when you point out something that I don't want to open for you. Like, or if you're somebody who I know drinks like a damn fish, mutual friend of ours, Jody.
Yeah, I know who you're
and I'll
talking
be
about.
like, I want to keep that away from you. It's going to be in another room, literally behind lock and key.
No, actually what I do is I had back in those days that David's referring to, I would, we had this, what was it called?
Well, you point it out and say, no, you can't have that.
Well, I did that, but remember what was it that I had that bottle of, it was horrible. It had the meat cleaver on it.
Slaughterhouse.
All right.
It's a cool looking bottle. It really was.
By far some of the best packaging I've ever seen in my life. All right.
Yeah.
Really being
Reason
serious
for that.
All right. But it's not the best juice I've ever had. We'll just say that. It's really young. It has
good for marinade.
Yeah. So anyway, so I would
it's kind of equivalent, yeah.
Lead Slinger is horrible.
In terms of quality.
Yeah. And but anyway, I would take an empty bottle of Blanton's or something like that, and I would fill it up with that. And I know which one it is. David knows which one it is. But this mutual guest did not know which one it is, and I would let him pick what he wants, and he always go to like Blanton's or something else that I would also
something
have
super fancy.
Yeah. And
we've told this story before about how we got him that one time.
Yeah, that was freaking awesome. That was one of the greatest videos that we ever did.
But I understand what sometimes people don't want to open certain bottles. And I mean, I'm not like that with any of my bottles, but if you're in my house, I will not let you use my chef knives at all. I won't let you grab my key, and I won't let you use my knives. It's just, they're not even in, like, you have to know where they are in the kitchen. They're not just, oh, here, let me use this knife to open up a can or something.
Knives are different, Billy. I understand that, man. Knives are different than even bourbon, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's a beyond a personal thing, man.
Hey, real quick, Jonathan has 2 questions he wants to ask. So hit us up, John.
So I got 2 questions. One, I just want a straight answer for. So what is a Russo pour? Now I've seen pictures. I've seen it at the top of the glass, right? But where did the hell did the name Russo come from? Am I
that I
just
don't
young and
know.
naive? Where did that come from?
Yeah, some guy in Bourbon Nation's named Eric Russo, I think, and he's the one who has no liver. So he'll literally pour.
He also
and he's
invented
taking-
the chugging.
No,
Was it him
that's
as well? I don't know, but he'll
I'm
take a
being
bottle.
facetious.
from
He'll take a bottle and
chugging
he'll literally
guy
just
from
pour it right up to the
WBSC.
rim, and it's just a light bubble on the rim of the glass of the dram glasses of the
Glencairns.
All right. Well, second question is, I haven't experienced this yet, but have you ever gone to your wife's friend's house that, their husbands are, they also have, a little bit of bourbon, and they're like, hey man, you want X, Y, and Z, and you judge them based on what bourbon
Yes.
they have.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I have totally judged people based on what they have.
Yeah. So for me, it's always someone pulls out a bottle of Basil Hayden. That's not a knock on Basil, but I like it. Okay.
It's a low
And they're
proof.
looking at me. Yeah, and they're looking at me like,
I actually like basil. Like I wouldn't turn my nose up at that.
no, I definitely wouldn't. But it's like, they're giving it to me because it's like, well, Mark's a bourbon guy. I've been drinking Knob Creek for 12 years, give or take. So it's like, I was like, no, this is good. I like basil.
Exactly.
That's about how I like basil. You guys have heard me use the term campfire drink many a times, and basil is definitely a campfire drink. When you're with your family, you're not trying to get all tankered up and sit by the fire and have 3-4 drinks, and at no point are you getting sloshed. That's a campfire drink. So it's something smooth that's good and fun to drink, and can at least have a conversation about. Well, I've been to numerous people's homes where they have bourbon and like, yeah, I'm a bourbon drinker. And I'm like, and I look in their shelf and there's not a bourbon in there. All right. There's like Jack Daniels. Then there's
awkward pause.
Yeah. And then there's just whiskeys.
Jim Beam White.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, I've gotten impressed with a bottle of 2 stars.
There you go.
Or they have the Johnny Walker double black or the red label.
The red label.
And they think they have it all. And I'm like, oh,
They're
cool.
Scotch drinkers.
Yeah. That's really good. I'm glad you got that going on. Yeah. I have judged people. But I will also tell you that I've had some of the greatest intellectual conversations, definitely with colleagues and stuff of that nature, that has been related to lower proofs, reasonable drinks that are not that you would normally judge, and you just go, you obviously don't know bourbon, but I respect where we're going with this conversation. And so I've been down with that. But if you're gonna bring out a bourbon, definitely someone who else is a bourbon drinker. I think what's cool is to have maybe something that's interesting, that you're gonna be able to talk about the different flavors. And if you're having dinner, something that pairs well with dinner, whatever you're having. Like if I'm having, I posted this one time. If I'm having bison, we eat a lot of bison at this house. So if I'm eating bison, if I'm making a bison steak, or if I'm making a bison burger or whatever, I don't drink in the morning. So even when I'm making bison sausage, that's the only time I don't drink.
Billy.
What's that? Billy? Yeah.
Billy's all about it, man.
Billy knew who I was talking about.
I want to kick it with Billy for the morning.
But those days, yeah, I'm gonna pair it with something like Buffalo Trace. And yeah, I know it's a little cliche because I'm probably doing it because it has the bison on it. But it's a solid bourbon. I mean, it's not one of my favorites. It's definitely low proof, but it's a good one to pair with it. Now, if I was having someone over to celebrate something, though, we're going to Stag, we're going to Rock Hill Farms, Straight from the Barrel, Blanton's, something like that. Something that's higher proof, something that's fun to drink, something that's interesting to talk about, and you can have conversations about the drink. And since I don't typically smoke cigars because I'm allergic to smoke, and I've really tried hard on the care package that that Mark sent me, it's a fruitless ambition. It's never going to happen. Like, they're going to be here when you show up, so
Yep.
it kind of is what it is. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I mean, I guess I'll ask John. I don't know if that answers. Now, I will also tell you the Russo pour. I was talking about that the other day. I don't understand that. I really don't. I'm like,
No.
see, I would have called that a well-behaved James pour.
I mean, the whole shtick, I think, is just to mess with people's emotions. There's like, oh, it's this fancy bourbon. We have to treat it all, la-ti-da, pinkies up almost kind of thing. And he's like, here, I'm just going to pour this all the way to the top because that's going to irk somebody. And people won't stop talking about it. So he's obviously proved himself right. I don't care either way. Like, do what you want. It's not my money.
I see it, and I'm kind of like, all right, he does this all the time. And it's not impressive. I mean, to me, I think you should almost, when you're having a bourbon or whiskey, whatever it is that you're having, kind of educate your palate. I think what he's doing, he's just drowning his palate. There's no recovery there.
I mean, who knows if he's actually drinking it either? Like, I mean, consider that as well.
I did watch on the whiskey, bourbon, Scotch enthusiast page. Watched a guy who he went to Hawaii with his wife, and they had Eagle Rare 17, and they were chugging it. And I was like, oh man,
they do it to fuck with people's emotions. Like,
no, I get that, but the thing is, though,
it's the same thing, John. It's the same shit up in the club.
Yeah,
it's the same shit.
But even if I had the money to buy a bottle,
sorry about the profanity filter.
If I have the money to buy
it,
17,
okay.
I still
it says conservative.
It's his thing. You're never gonna see my ass doing.
So
it'll say, I'm not sure what this is.
I've seen people do it. It seems silly, but go ahead.
Where are my mittens?
So I do have another question for you guys. So before this group, before the pandemic, when I traveled quite a bit for the company I work for, when I traveled and I would eat dinner, and because the company's paying for it, I'd be like, what's your well bourbon? And they'd tell me X, Y, and Z. So here's a question for you guys. And this could be geographical, there's could be some biases here. But if I was to say, you know what, hey guys, I'm going to open up a bar/restaurant in each one of your cities that you currently live in, and I'm going to give you $2 million to set up what this bar is going to be. So you're going to design what bourbon, what liquors we're going to have. What is your well bourbon that you're carrying? What is
BTAC?
What's
the
that?
Entire line of BTAC. That's the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Every one of them.
So what he's saying is he's going back to you and going, hey, $2 million is not enough.
Yeah, I would do BTAC. I would definitely have Blanton's, but I would also have Rabbit Hole. I'd have quite a few Whistle Pigs. In particular, I would have the Whistle Pig Boss Hog Samurai.
But Mark, with a well liquor, it's usually one bourbon. So you only get to pick one bourbon to be your bottom shelf. That's the shit that's laying in the ice. That
I can tell you this. You have to look at it from the perspective of who your clientele is. That's where I would start first. All right. I would not, just being honest with you. David knows this. I have thought about opening up a bar, like a speakeasy type of facility here in Columbia, Tennessee, downtown the square, called the Whiskey Rebellion. All right. I wouldn't have a well drink. All right. It would be bourbons and maybe a few scotches for those people. All right.
By those people, he means me.
But people that can afford to come in. But anyway,
Shot fired.
But no, so I wouldn't. But if what you were saying is, hey, I need you to open up a Luke Bryant's downtown, and you're like, what's going to be your well drink? I'm going to pick one of the big names. I'm going to pick either like a Buffalo Trace would be my preference as a well drink, because at least it's a good spirit. It's possible because of whom our constituents are within this geographical area. It could be a Jack Daniels. I just wouldn't drink bourbon or that. Or I would pick maybe even a Jim Beam, or even if it's Tennessee, I may even pick a Dickel product to be there. That would be my preference. If I was opening up one of those type of places that are on 2nd Avenue, and you know what I'm talking about, John.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I don't know if that
Billy,
answers your question.
Billy, what about Miami? What if we have something in Miami?
See, and that's the thing, you know, like Jody said, it would have a lot to do with your clientele. So I don't know if you guys know, but the mojito is like the official drink of Miami. So when all the tourists come in town, they want to go to South Beach or Wynwood, and they want to find a fancy, you know, mojito or whatever. But people don't realize that here in Miami that there's some very high-end bourbon drinkers. So if I had to have a well drink, I would probably have a Buffalo Trace, only because I think it would be something good to get somebody started on. But, you know, there's places where, you know, you can go in and you can get, you know, Eagle Rare, and I don't know how they get away with it, but they're charging like $25 a shot for it, you know, and they can't keep it. You know, there's places out on South Beach that have like real live back rooms that you don't know about. And some of the stuff they have in there is like super exclusive. You go in there, you're not walking out of there without spending at least $250. I don't care what you do. At the very minimum, you're gonna spend $250. So, you know, if you had the spring break crowd coming in, they're gonna just drink mojitos until they pass out in the sand. But if we come down to Miami, I'm gonna take you guys to a place where you're gonna be like, well, Jesus Christ, I didn't realize it was like this in Miami.
You might go into the Dirty Rabbit.
Well, you know, the Dirty Rabbit is where we're gonna leave Jody.
No, you're not gonna leave me because Jody ain't going.
Oh no, he's going. And you know, we'll go to this place called Neat, where I'm talking about anything you can think of, they have it. How they get it, I don't know. And literally, it's you basically have to be a member of this club to get into the back room. Like if we just walked in there and you wasn't members, they don't care how much money you got. They're not gonna let you go in the back. They just won't do it.
John, have you been to the bar at the Marriott downtown Nashville?
I have. Yep.
You know what I'm talking about? The new the like 450 story building downtown Nashville. I'm obviously being facetious. It's not 450 stories, but it's like a lot.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They have a bar there, and I've actually spoken with that guy because he was trying to hook me up with a bottle of 19 Stag of George T. Stag, and it just happened to sell before I could get to the point to actually driving down there because it you know, it's COVID restrictions. I could only come during certain times. I would have to change my schedule and stuff to get down there. But dude, oh my God, he sent me the list of what they have there. I've never been there, so I've been wanting to go because like probably the best place around here is probably the Whiskey Kitchen. Circa has pretty good one. I forget what it's called, but the one in Thompson Station is really good as well. The Homestead something or anyway, it's really good. They have great bourbons. That's where I bought the two pours that were $68, and so but they have everything. So for a double, I was like, well, that was a mistake, but hey, it is what it is. But it really wasn't. It was a orphan bourbon, and it was fantastic. But the reason why I asked that question, are there places that you want to go that you go like Hemingway's it's not called Hemingway's anymore. It's called Ernest and Hideaway. And I went there for Valentine's Day one time, and man, that place was fantastic. And they had some great bourbons. Is there places in your area? Hey, speaking of which, with, you know, Valentine's Day coming up. It's the ladies' day, but you guys could all enjoy some stuff with yourself there with at these places. Is there places you would go?
So here in Phoenix, we have a place called Century Grand. It's like that.
Hmm.
Bourbons, you pretty much name it, they'll have it. And because of COVID and Miss Rona, their capacity is a lot lower right now. So, but that's definitely one of those here in the Phoenix area.
What about you, Billy?
There's a lot of great places up in Fort Lauderdale.
Well, you said
Oh, no.
meat too, so that would be
Yeah.
one.
That would be one. And up in Fort Lauderdale, there's Los Olas. There's bars up and down both sides of the sidewalk. So, I mean, you can close your eyes and grab a door handle and you'll find a place that you'll enjoy.
Nice.
And it's funny because some of the best places that have some of the most outstanding bourbons, they're not all that fancy, believe it or not. They're really all about the bourbon. It's come as you are. There's no real dress code. I mean, shoes, shirt, pants, of course. But it's not uppity. It's not all full of aristocrats. So I would definitely say Los Olas would definitely be a place for Valentine's. South Beach and Coconut Grove are really for the tourists. I live here, and I can't even tell you the last time I've been to Miami Beach.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Jack, what about you, brother? Trying to do it rapid fire because we're at the top of the hour.
Well, real quick, I wanted to kind of circle back around on, this seems to be the word of the phrase of the week, circle back around on what you're all talking about with Wells. I reached out to a friend of mine who works at a chain restaurant. It looks like a little red pepper. And their well is, it's 10 high. So they're using in their well. And I looked it up on Total Wine. It's $8 for a 750.
That's good stuff.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
mean,
they
so
All right.
might as well, if you're
bottle
gonna
and all.
do wells, you might as well do
They're
like
not
Old Tub or
purchasing-
early
yeah.
times.
Speaking of ancient age,
Or is it ancient age?
But if I'm going to, if I'm trying to find a place that I'm going to sit back and relax and have, a good drink, it's there. I haven't really done that because I can't, when I go out and just sit down and have a drink, it's usually beer. It's not necessarily a whiskey or bourbon. So I'll go to a local brewery. There's a couple of months ago, I went to Blue Spruce. So that's kind of one of the ones local to my house that I'll go to. So the Uber's not all that expensive. It's like $8 round trip. But when I lived more north of where I'm at now, there was a place called the Archive Room, and they had some really good stuff up there. And to the point where they knew me, they had my drink poured when I was coming in. So I would just sit at the bar and just sip on that. But I've tried to, hit up a lot of these restaurant bars, and in doing so, I've gotten, really good contacts where, kind of similar to like going to a store and getting barrel picks. They're the same, that red pepper place. They had Maker's Mark 46. This is about a year ago. And it wasn't in their inventory. And every time I went in there, they gave me basically a Russo pour of that. And and they didn't charge me for it because it wasn't in their inventory. Like the distributor gave them the bottle, literally gave it to them. So every time I went in there, I got it for free, and they never really gave it to anybody else because they put it down below. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
I mean,
For real.
there you go. There's a couple of places like the Archive Room is the place called the Parker Garage. They have a lot of the high end bottles.
I'll be honest with you. Somebody handed me a Russo pour. I'd ask for one of those little straws.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm
You kind of have to. I mean, because otherwise you're like,
Yeah.
it's a blowjob shot, right? Like.
Wow.
I can't unsee that now.
Back on HBO.
No, it's called. It's
All
a
right.
shot.
So real quick, I do want to end the show tonight. I'm sorry if I didn't get to everybody on that. So it kind of is what it is. We want to try to end at the hour. So follow us on YouTube. I'm gonna start posting these with the video and then also the link to the YouTube channel. Follow us, man. We want to try to grow this community. It's just guys having fun and girls. We have a few that have shown up, and we want to build this community. This was the whole premise behind this. None of us, well, that's not true. 3 of us are in the Middle Tennessee area. The rest of us, so that's half, more than half, are somewhere else. You want to be part of the VIP, all right? The VIP is where deals happen. It's also where sometimes you can get kicked out of the club altogether. So it kind of is what it is. We want to have fun, but I also want to give a shout out to Cafe 305. You can find Be Good to Yourself on YouTube. Cafe 305bbq.com is his webpage. Dude, best barbecue sauce in the world. Shane, that I got your bottle from today, Billy, he was like, dude, I'm always grilling out. This right here is gonna be awesome. And next thing you know, you guys are connected. And I facilitated that by pure accident because he was like, I want some samples of stuff as well as the greenbacks. And so I brought him some samples. He's never had Heaven Hill. I brought him some Heaven Hill, and I got him the Stag 128.6, which is last year's model. Anyhow, guys, always fun. Let's do this again on Sunday for our Monday show. Tomorrow's my birthday, so happy birthday to me. I'll be old as hell.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, brother.
You guys all have a wonderful
If you
night.
ever look so good.
You're such a dick. Anyhow, peace out.
Cheers.